Welcome to this short little video where I would like to talk to you about these 3D printed tanks I bought. Recently I've been looking at options of getting some armour for my Crossfire project, and there are basically three choices. There's the plastic kits, which these days are fantastically easy to get. Warlord Games do a lot of them. There's the kind of old standby that I'm used to of resin and metal kits, and then there's the new option, which here in front of you, which is 3D printing. I ended up with the 3D printed option because I'm not a fan of plastic kits, although they all look lovely. I always make a mess when I make them, so they're my last option. I'm much more happy with resin and metal kits, but at the end of the day, when I paint a tank, it never looks as good as the masterful tank painters that you see on the internet. It's only ever going to look like a fairly crappy wargaming piece because that's all I can manage. So at the end of the day, these are about half to a third the price of a resin kit, so I went for these printed ones. That's all well and good, you say. What's that got to do with me? And you'd be right. Why should you care why I chose particular models? The fact is, though, I was really pleasantly surprised when I received these tanks at the quality. I have a 3D printer myself, but I've not used it for about 3 years because I have such a backlog of stuff I made and haven't painted yet that I've not found the need to turn it on. So I did buy these rather than print them myself, and I'm fairly glad I did because of the cost. Also, models like this will be quite a hassle to print nicely, so on the whole, spending the money seemed like a good idea. Let's have a look then. The Sherman on the left costs £11. Here he is. There are, of course, print lines, but it's very smooth. It's a two-part print. You get a turret and you get the body. The turret can then turn. It's all very lovely. I haven't cleaned these up at all, touched them up since I took them out of the packet. Let's have a look at that. Oh, sorry, big hand. That's meant to be there. There we go, Sherman. £11. The Panzer IV costs £12. Comes with the extra armour as an option. Again, two-part casting. That on there. You can see printing lines. It's a bit of a fault here. Very slight fault though. It looks worse than it feels. But £12, you're looking at what are you looking at? £20 for a plastic kit of these? £20 to £30 for a resin model. As with all materials, they all have their strengths and weaknesses. The weaknesses of 3D printing isn't enough in this case, offset against the bonuses of low cost, for me to choose one of the other options. I really enjoyed getting these through the post. It was like revisiting my childhood. So these are scaled to 1/56th scale, scaled down from the dimensions of the actual tanks. So they are very accurate in that. Whether you think 1/56th scale is adequate to match up against your 28mm figures is up to you. I always think 1/56th scale models look a little small because I use metal Wargames figures and they're chunky, but I'm quite happy to have a smaller footprint on the table. I'm going to base these. These will be raised to the same height as the infantry, and I think they look pretty good, and I'm more than happy with them from that point of view. So let's have a look. Here's a Panzer III by the same company after I painted it. This was in my last painting update, so some of you will have seen it before. And yeah, you can see the lines, but this is how I paint tanks. I've ordered some transfers, so everyone's going to be transferred together at the end, so they will have a little bit more tarting up, but not much. These will get German crosses and these guys will get stars. And from the same company, here's a Stuart. Stuart's a bigger tank than I thought it was compared to the Sherman. I thought the Sherman would, but anyway, there they are based, and if we put a infantry next to them, yeah, I think it's pretty good size-wise. Alrighty, so for me, they're a good tabletop toy. Quite happy with that. Get you back in shot so you look awesome. Hey. Okay, so these designs, I forget the name of the guy who makes the designs, but there are several licensed printers on eBay. I got these from a chap called Miniatures Begone, all one word. If you wanted to grab a look at some yourself, he's got a pretty decent range of stuff. The Stuart and the Panzer III came from him as well. I've got some coming from another supplier, a pair of tanks that this guy doesn't make, and I'll do a quick video and a comparison when they get here. By way of comparison, here's a Universal Carrier plastic kit from Warlord Games, which I think retails at £15. Mine costs £13.50 off eBay, but just to reassure you that when I get a plastic kit, it doesn't end up looking any better than when I paint a 3D printed tank. Size and weight wise, this is, you know, more expensive than either of those tanks, and not terribly, not much of an improvement on quality, really. I think the equivalent sort of Carrier 3D printed is about a £5, but you don't get a crew, so that's, you know, but I think buying open top vehicles as 3D prints is not an option for me anyway. Right, that's it, waffling done. I just wanted to do a quick little shout out to this company, Miniatures Begone, and maybe reassure some of you who are thinking, well, I'd like to buy a bunch of these, but maybe they'll be rubbish. I don't think they're rubbish. I think they're perfectly serviceable tabletop miniatures. Anyway, okay, that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.